Merry Christmas, everybody. I hope everybody is having a jolliest of the seasons. I know I made a video last time about kindness, and it was an okay video. I could have done better on it, but there's only so much I can analyze in just 10 minutes. But I really want to make a shorter video here like today just to emphasize my points that kindness is important. It's important. It's tied to our happiness that we have that to be happy we have to be kind in some ways, but I want to also emphasize that that's a little oversimplistic as well, because there are times when that you have to be nuanced here. There are some times where it's important to be kind and giving, but there are some times where you really need to put your foot down, have some backbone, and just say no. And you know what? It might not be kind to that person per se, but it is kind to yourself. Sometimes we have to protect the people that we love, including ourselves. And sometimes that might mean not being kind to somebody. There's, of course, assertiveness is what I'm talking about. Just being assertive. There's a difference between being assertive and being aggressive. Do you see that? Like, assertive communication is like, no, I said no, you crossed the line, I'm not gonna be friends with you anymore. We're done. Like, sometimes that's important. Like, sometimes you have to distance yourself from people that you care about the most in your life. Like, sometimes the people that we love the most are the ones that hurt us the most. And sometimes we have to take that hard step and just breaking ties with old friends or just anybody that is holding you back in life. And I want you to see that as the best for both of you guys, because if sometimes we grow apart, like sometimes people outgrow each other, and it's important that you embrace the process of new people entering in and then old people exiting your life. That's just part of life, is you're gonna have people coming and going in your life, and you have to just embrace that process of change. And it is a difficult one. It's not easy. What we're talking about is not easy, but I want you to think of the long-term picture, that self-kindness is about protecting, and it's about really giving yourself that mental space, because you're the average of who you surround yourself with, is what the saying is. And it's like, you want to surround yourself with positive people in your life. Follow people on TikTok, on the Instagram, on Facebook. Follow people that actually lift you up, and unfollow people that don't. Like, it's something that's so simple but yet so hard, and that's the paradox of life, right? The simplest thing is the hardest thing, but I know you can do it. On another point, I do want to emphasize that, that kindness and health kind of go together too, that we take health for granted. Like, it's so easy to be kind when you're healthy, when you feel good in your body. Like, it's really hard to be kind when you're irritable, when you got depression, when you have an earache like I do. So speaking of which, today's Christmas, right? Yay. I had to go to the ER because my dang ear was clogged up from some cold a while back ago, and it just wouldn't go away. And so I had to go to the ER today. But, that's the kind of thing that you have to do. And just kind of what I realized is that men were really bad at going to the doctor. And you know what? I was really bad at going to the doctor. I could have went on Friday, but I was like, you know what? I really want to do this after the holidays and whatever. Like, I kind of didn't want to go to the doctor on Friday, because I know that that's like when doctors and stuff are getting ready for the weekend. I was like, you know what, I want to just wait till after the weekend, so so I don't have to fill the hospital up. That's me thinking I'm kind, right? Like, but like in the end, I had to go on Christmas Day. So gosh. So good intentions, right? So kindness, there's good intentions, and then there's also the perception. So sometimes when you're being kind, here's a perfect like example. So sometimes you can be kind, but to the other person you're not kind. So a perfect example is, there was this woman who was sitting on a cooler that said "do not sit," and of course my dumb ass is like a 9-year-old kid or something like that, or 12-year-old, I don't know. Like, I was pretty young, and part of autism is that I don't really pay attention. It's hard for me to pick up on social cues, so I just kind of blurted out what was on my mind, and I took it literally. It says, "Hey, Excuse me, ma'am, this cooler says do not sit. Um, please don't sit on this cooler because I'm afraid that you might break it. And so she's like, her face just like, I was like, oh, I didn't mean it like that. I meant like the cooler said like don't sit on it, you know, because like I just told her that, hey, you might not want to sit on this because you might break it. And she took that as like, oh, I'm fat, but then I clarified that, hey, the cooler says do not sit. So my intentions, I should say, were good intentions, were kind intentions, but the delivery, the person's perception was, man, he was really body shaming me there. Do you see that? Like sometimes that communication there. So it's like, who is right? Like, am I being kind, or is her perception of me? You know, see that there's a miscommunication there. So just because you have the best intentions doesn't necessarily mean that your acts are going to be of kindness per se. Like sometimes people can misunderstand, and then whose fault is that really? Is that the person's fault for misunderstanding, or is it your fault? You know, it's kind of like with microaggressions and stuff, right? That you can, you know, say like, hey, like, where are you from? Like, well, so wait, so like, where are you really from? Like, see, like, you know, that is a microaggression that somebody who, you know, is like a minority, they might be really offended because they've had to deal with that. And you know, like you might not intend to do that. Like I might like say like, hey, like where are you from? Like that's a casual thing that I do in conversation, right? But if you say where are you really from, that's like a microaggression, and you might not be intending to be mean by that. Like it just comes across as you attacking people, that you not thinking that they belong in America or something like that. Because just because you're of a different race, just because you're not white doesn't mean that you're not from America, right? Because America is the home of the free, the home of the brave, the home of everybody. Everybody's welcome here. If, you know, supposedly, right? Everybody's welcome here. Yeah, be a citizen and all that stuff. But at any rate, that's a hard process too. I can't even imagine. But I'm on a tangent here. I'm gonna wrap this up. Just remember that kindness, it's about the self-kindness. It's about, you know, you kindness. It's also about gratitude and protection. And, you know, you might have to be a protector, and you might have to sacrifice some kindness to somebody else to be kind to the people that you love, yourself and other people. Like you gotta choose your battles. You gotta choose your priorities at the end of the day. And you're not gonna please everybody, right? Like some people can use kindness as a weapon against you. Like, hey, like you're being very mean. And then when somebody calls you mean, it's kind of like in the Marty McFly, like the Back to the Future, right? When somebody calls him a coward, then he gets all defensive. So that's kind of like a trigger for some people. So just because like somebody doesn't think that you're kind doesn't mean that you aren't kind. It's just you you know, sometimes it's just a misunderstanding. Sometimes people are just trying to gaslight you at the end of the day. So you just got to do the best you can, and just do the best you can at it.